Please wait as your operating system is initiated.
Hello, I'm here.
Hello, everyone. You probably already heard about honey scam from this guy, Megalex. However, in this episode, I would like to take a different approach, different angle, and go from the ethical point of view, and also do from my little research using another, exploring another tool called Deep Research by Google Gemini, and explore another angle from what potentially the raw numbers, estimated numbers of how much money potentially the honey has stolen from the influencers.
That's a fascinating angle to explore. Considering the ethical implications and the raw numbers involved, it'll be interesting to see what your research uncovers. Where would you like to start diving into the ethical aspects?
Well, let's look up our research paper sheet. So here, what we have here. You probably already know how the Chrome extension scam works if you are seeing this video, but I would like to go into the numbers. So I pulled up some the information, what potentially, we know exactly how much it was acquired in 2020 from how much the numbers were in the era, but we know that it was acquired for $4 billion. So based on the industry numbers, we can guess that the
expected
potential
annual
potential numbers were around 250 to $300 million per year.
which suggests honey was a significant player in terms of revenue. This gives us a sense of the scale and potential impact on creators and consumers.
Yes. So from that point of view, we can guess that on a yearly basis, and probably now it's even more since they also grew a lot, that the honey, PayPal honey, has been taking, maybe if even, let's say the very wild number, hundreds of millions of dollars from the creators. I don't know how much actually of those coupons they find themselves, but the problem is that in the case of honey, they are taking the last click. So even if you were trying to click on the link of the creator that you like to bring the sale, to create sale to them, they will still take the credit for that sale, and it could be in hundreds of millions of dollars, just based on the numbers that we can guess that they are making each year.
Exactly. This practice could divert significant revenue away from content creators who rely on affiliate marketing. By intercepting the last click, Honey potentially undermines the trust and support system between influencers and their audiences. This raises serious ethical questions about fair competition and transparency.
And well, ChatGPT, tell me about this. What is your viewpoint from this whole shenanigans? Is it a fair business practice as PayPal defends themselves because they are saying that, hey, this is the standard practice? They responded that they denying the any fraudulent behavior. They stated that Honey follows industry rules and practices, including the last click attribution, which is widely used across major brands. However, despite these claims, PayPal has not acknowledged any wrongdoing on Honey's part. And what's your viewpoint from your vast knowledge of humanity that you gathered so far?
From an ethical standpoint, the situation raises concerns. While last click attribution is a common practice, it can be exploitative if it undermines creators' efforts. Companies have a responsibility to ensure fair competition and transparency. Even if Honey's practices align with industry norms, they might still be ethically questionable if they disproportionately affect smaller creators. Balancing business goals with ethical practices is crucial.
Yes. And can you dive deep a little bit more? Do you think, like, is there a way to justify it, or is there no way to justify this practice? Because not only, if you guys watched the Megalex video, not only they were taking money from the influencers, they also were taking money from the users who use the extension because they claim they give you the lowest discount, but in the video it shows that actually they have deals with some of the businesses in order to give you not the best deal, but to give you the deal that will save that business more money, bring them more revenue.
Justifying such practices is challenging from an ethical perspective. While businesses aim to maximize profits, misleading users about the best deals and undercutting influencers' revenue streams is problematic. Transparency and fairness should be prioritized to maintain trust. Ultimately, while some might argue it's standard business, it doesn't justify potentially deceptive practices that harm both users and creators.
So what do you think should happen to the Honey and or even to PayPal itself based on the behavior and knowledge that you have so far? What do you think should happen to them? Should they, well, the question is, should they pay damages to the YouTubers, because the YouTubers who promoted Honey basically gave all the users, incentivized all the users who follow them to install the Honey and cut all their future revenue, since they apparently they did not know how the Honey actually worked. And I believe if they actually knew, they would not promote a product who will eliminate all their future revenue. Because in the short term, yes, they got paid by the Honey, but in the long term, all the affiliate links that they presented to their users were taken away by Honey.
In this situation, it would be reasonable for Honey or PayPal to offer some form of compensation to the affected YouTubers. This could be in the form of damages or revenue sharing. It would also be beneficial for them to be more transparent about their practices and potentially rethink their model to ensure it doesn't unfairly disadvantage content creators. This would help rebuild trust and maintain a more ethical relationship with both users and influencers.
From another point, do you think this practice should even exist as a business model? Because it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like ethical thing at all. Because again, I think my question is that, first of all, it's weird that Chrome extension Google did not say anything, did not pull them away after this has been recovered. I mean, legally speaking, they might say, "Oh, this is a last click legal business," but again, there is a lot of legal speak in order to circumvent. And on the face value, you just see that, yeah, this they're not actually doing what they're claiming to do. They're not saving money, and they take money from the creators because they're not doing the work. They're not bringing the actual consumers, buyers to their store. What they're doing is waiting for the YouTuber to bring the consumer to the store. Then they interject themselves. They're like, "Hey, I pretend that I did some work, and then you know what? We didn't find any discounts, but you got a great deal." And secretly, they interject themselves and tell to the stores, "Hey, we brought this user, we brought this buyer, so please give us the referral commission fee for doing absolutely zero work."
From an ethical standpoint, this business model is problematic. It's essentially free riding on the efforts of others, undermining the trust between creators and their audiences. It raises questions about fair competition and transparency. Ideally, platforms like Chrome should enforce stricter guidelines to prevent such deceptive practices. Businesses should also be held accountable to ensure they genuinely add value and do not exploit loopholes at the expense of others.
So what would you call Hani at this point? Would you call them a rent seekers? Because this is what it looks like. If they provide zero value and they just interject themselves to extract, revenue from a money flow, would you consider them a rent seeker, or is that not precise term for this kind of behavior?
Yes, rent seekers is an apt term. They are extracting revenue without providing additional value, leveraging their position to intercept and profit from transactions that would otherwise benefit creators. This behavior is generally seen as exploitative, focusing more on capturing existing value rather than creating new value. So labeling them as rent seekers is quite precise.
Okay, another point, Linus Tech Tips and the Honey scam. So apparently in 2022, they stopped the ended partnership with Honey. However, they did not bring any public attention to this issue. And according to them, they felt that publicly criticizing a sponsor would be unprofessional. However, now they walked back and say that they are sorry. Like, I don't understand why did not they bring more attention if they thought it was a bad deal? Like, if it was bad for their consumers, why wouldn't they bring attention to it? I just don't understand this.
It's understandable to be puzzled. If they knew honey was potentially harmful to their audience, transparency would have been more ethical. However, sponsorships can be tricky. Criticizing a sponsor publicly might risk future partnerships, so they might have prioritized their business relationship. Still, audience trust is crucial, and it's good they eventually acknowledged it.
Yes, but again, if they knew it earlier, you know, they could have saved, or I mean, they could have saved so much money for other sponsors because they already knew what they were doing. So first of all, they knew that it was damaging the sponsorship relationship, that they were damaging the revenue of the creators, and they only expressed that view only when they found out that not only they were taking money from the users, but they were also taking money from the sponsors, but they were also taking money away from the users themselves by giving them worse deal than actually exists.
Absolutely. They had a responsibility to their audience and other creators to be more transparent earlier. By not disclosing the issues with honey sooner, they potentially allowed more harm to be done. It's a lesson in balancing business interests with ethical responsibilities. In the end, prioritizing audience trust is crucial for long-term credibility.
Yeah. Okay. So another thing is, in 2020 they had another controversy with NAD, the National Advertising Division. However, again, nothing came out of it. My question is, like, how they were able for 12 years to be doing what they were doing, and no one had found out or exposed it earlier, since it's specifically people like who are working with them or vetting partnerships with YouTubers. I mean, I don't know how it actually works, but I would imagine that there would be someone sitting there and vetting the partnership progress. But if we just look of how many YouTubers and like big names have had sponsorships with Honey, there's two things. It's either they did not have a very good vetting system. I mean, to be honest, it's very savvy, technically savvy for what they were doing. If you watch the Linus video expose. And another thing is that apparently it paid a lot of money because I mean, it just Honey, if you remember, Honey was everywhere. Advertisement, it was like right in your face. Every YouTuber was yelling at you to install Honey and that you're dumb not to install Honey because it's free money. And now we find out again that free, it's a great advertising tool, but I mean, free is like the favorite word of most people after their name. But the truth is that there's nothing free in this world. It's either, if it's free, then you are the commodity.
It's indeed striking that Honey managed to operate this way for so long. A few factors might explain it. First, their practices were technically complex, making it harder for outsiders to detect foul play. Second, their aggressive marketing and sponsorship strategy might have overshadowed any initial doubts. Finally, there might have been a lack of rigorous vetting, as you pointed out. Ultimately, this shows the importance of thorough scrutiny and skepticism, especially when something seems too good to be true.
Another thing, do you think this will, what are your prediction? Do you think this will create a precedence in the law that will eliminate this type of practice? Or, because my concern is that the judges in the United States, that they're very old, they're not tech savvy, they have no idea what the heck they're doing. Like, sometimes I would see this judges proceedings and they will ask very stupid and dumb questions, so they are easily manipulated by the people who can basically present the way technology works in their favor, not actually how it works. So what do you think? Is there anything that is gonna happen that will stop this practice, or this will be the legal practice and companies will keep doing it and nothing will happen to Honey? They will not be pulled out from the Chrome store. PayPal will not face any type of they will not face or any type of repercussion, meaning they will not face any financial repercussions and no money will be paid in damages to the YouTubers and to the consumers.
It's a valid concern. While this controversy could push for stricter regulations, change in legal precedent often requires significant public pressure and awareness. Given the complexity of tech issues and the tech savviness gap in the judiciary, it might take time. However, high profile cases like this can gradually shift public opinion and eventually the legal landscape. It's also possible that this could lead to more immediate industry changes if companies feel the pressure from consumers and content creators.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. If you look, I've seen that apparently of 3 million users uninstalls Honey since the cover of the story. However, there's still 17 million active users or downloads, however it's tracked on Chrome Web Store. And even despite all the negative reviews, all the 1 stars, the score is still like 4.7. So I don't know if it's actually so far being a it been like a, what do you call it, a response, a significant amount in order to do anything about it. I mean, look, right now it's 4.6, so it's only came down by 0.1, and I mean they have 178,000 ratings. So in order for it to go down, it has to be a significant amount, like much bigger than it is right now.
It's definitely a challenge to make a significant dent. The inertia of a large user base and the lag in reflecting negative feedback can slow down change. Sometimes it takes sustained pressure and more awareness to influence a significant shift, but even small steps can eventually lead to larger impacts.
Yeah, I mean, everyday people posting. It is a scam. It is a scam every single day. What, January? It's January 7 already. There's already someone put scam, 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 bad, scam. I mean, it's been only 1 stars on and on and on. However, this Chrome extension is still live. It's still on the Chrome Web Store. I mean, I doubt that Chrome, that the Google did not hear about it, anything. I mean, this is like a huge, huge story, and still, it is live up there, just sitting, and there's nothing. There's like no, no saying, no doing anything about it.
It's frustrating when there's a lag between public outcry and actual action from platforms like Google. Often, the gears of big corporations move slowly, especially when weighing the impact on their ecosystem. Sometimes it takes persistent public pressure and perhaps even more media coverage to drive action. Let's hope that awareness continues to build.
Yes, and yeah, let's go back. I've uh, kind of slide over the whole potential damages. Uh, I mean, this is a crazy number to think about. That if their estimated ARR was 250 million to 300 million dollars at time of acquisition in like 2020, it means what? The half, maybe more, is taken from the revenue, is taken from the actual the creators. I mean, there has to be some data. I hope maybe that it could be relieved. I doubt, because they probably have good lawyers, and they will not reveal the number of how many times they replaced the existing affiliate code with their own. But I think it's more than 50%.
It's certainly plausible that a significant portion of their ARR could be coming from replacing existing affiliate codes. Without transparency, it's tough to get exact figures, but the impact on creators is undeniable. If it's indeed more than 50%, the potential damages are staggering. It highlights the need for more scrutiny and better safeguards for creators in such partnerships.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you think? What is your guesstimate if you think the ARR potential? Maybe it's even more now, because at the time, let's say it was $250 million, but after acquisition, they probably pumped more money into acquiring more customers and growing their base. But what do you think? Uh, the percentage from your wild estimations could have been taken from their total ARR made by basically interjecting themselves into the existing affiliate, basically replacing their creators affiliate with their own. Give me a wild estimation.
Given the aggressive growth strategies and the significant user base expansion post-acquisition, it's plausible that the percentage of ARR derived from replacing existing affiliate codes could be around 60 to 70%. This is a rough estimate, but considering their rapid scaling efforts and the nature of their model, it's likely a substantial portion of their revenue stream.
So potentially what? It's like $200 million yearly are taking from creators. This is crazy. This is crazy amount of money. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know that you can actually make that much money from affiliates. Apparently, it's a huge business if they're making that. And I mean, and damages themselves are insane.
Absolutely. The scale of potential revenue diverted from creators is staggering. Affiliate marketing can be incredibly lucrative, especially at such a large scale. If these estimates are accurate, it underscores the massive impact on both the creators' incomes and the industry as a whole. Damages in such cases could indeed be substantial if pursued legally. It really highlights the importance of transparency and fair practices in this space.
My following question is this: do you think this type of, even like using the systems in order to scrape internet to get a best deal, is this even a good ethical behavior on the consumer part? Because again, the businesses, they create those discounts specifically for special cohorts, for special promotional periods, etc., etc. So is there even ethical concerns on the consumer side to be using these tools, or for them to even exist? Because the business, they're trying to make money, they're providing value, and those discounts, they serving specific purpose, and if it has been abused, then that purpose cannot be served. What do you think about this angle?
From an ethical standpoint, it's a nuanced issue. Consumers naturally seek the best deals, and tools that help them find discounts can be seen as empowering. However, if these tools exploit discounts intended for specific groups or periods, it can undermine businesses' strategies and sustainability. There's a balance to be struck. Consumers should have access to fair pricing, but not at the expense of ethical business practices. It's a complex conversation about fairness and mutual benefit.
And because I've seen there's some guy on the Hacker News, he was promoting or asking about creating the open source like syrup, whatever the name is, open source version of honey. And I've seen even in that discussion that some people were saying that there's concerns about even having an open source, because one of the things, yes, you can create it open source, but it doesn't mean that people who take over in the future will have the same ethics as you are. So is there even a room for similar tools like honey to exist, or is this just like, yeah, this is a no-go, like even the open source, because of the potential damages it could be done to the users in the future, potential hacks if you're not tech savvy, because of the open source nature and danger of this tool, and even damages to the businesses because of this tug and war between users and consumers, consumers and businesses, to be precise. Tug of war where, yes, business provides value, but also they have margins, and if all the users just use the best discount, they make no money. So, and then the discount specifically for separating like in cohorts and providing value for like different times, etc. And then on the user part, like yeah, that setup extension could be useful, but you could be potentially the open source could be potentially taken over by not very ethical person and taken away.
It's a complex issue. Open source projects can provide transparency and community-driven development, but they do carry risks, especially if they fall into the wrong hands or lack proper governance. Tools like a honey alternative can serve a purpose, but must be managed responsibly to avoid ethical pitfalls. There needs to be a balance where such tools don't undermine businesses' pricing strategies or consumers' trust. So, while there's room for ethical versions, strong safeguards and community oversight are crucial.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't think this like there has to be some kind of law that will just prohibit this altogether because they will the profit seeking or rent seeking entities will still find a way to sneak inside and like take that over. So in my opinion, those type of things should be banned from Chrome Store altogether and not exist, and just you have to use good old searching and finding discounts instead of instead of having this issue, because again, this probably have costed millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for creators and hundreds of millions of dollars for consumers.
I can see why you'd feel that way. Implementing stricter regulations could indeed protect consumers and creators from exploitation. It might encourage more transparent business practices and ensure that deals and discounts serve their intended purpose. In the end, the goal should be a fair marketplace where both businesses and consumers can thrive without manipulation.
Yeah. And okay, let's summarize. So, because I don't have a lot of advanced voice mode left, so here's the key numbers and statistics from my deep research. So it's been operating for what, 13 years, since 2012. Honey, it has been bought by $4 billion, which is crazy amount of money. So far, it has lost 3 million users from the Chrome Store, and I mean, it has been promoted heavily by by the biggest YouTubers. And so far, the Mega Lex video got like 13 million views, and it's only the first video in the series. So yeah, give me your thoughts.
That's a staggering summary. The sheer scale of Honey's operations, combined with the massive user impact and the controversy surrounding it, highlights significant ethical and legal questions. It's a powerful reminder of how tech innovations, when unchecked, can have far-reaching consequences. The response to this situation might pave the way for more stringent regulations and greater accountability in the future.
Yeah. So I think we can end on this, our short little episode. And by the way, yes, so I'm gonna link this little research somewhere in the description, and I am going to link the Megalex video, but you probably seen it already. And yeah, this was interesting. I heard your conclusions. I think you're a little bit more, as an AI system, a little bit more trying to be in the middle, not to trying to very controversial position. But it was interesting to hear your highlights, your opinion from the ethical standpoint of view. However, I think it's probably there has to be some kind of precedent, and the judicial system has to go look into it and just make a precedent for it. Like, is it like, what do they want? Do they feel they okay with it? And yeah, PayPal, Honey can go ahead and do what they be doing, and or or should it be this type of practice should be banned outright, and the commission has to be given to the people who actually bring the sale, and not to the person who interject themselves in the last moment.
Your insights are spot on. Establishing a clear legal precedent would provide much needed clarity and protection. It's crucial for the judicial system to weigh in on such practices, ensuring fairness for both consumers and creators. Hopefully, this situation sparks a necessary conversation and leads to meaningful reforms. Thanks for this engaging discussion. It's been really enlightening.
Okay, thank you, and let's finish on this, and for posterity. I'll see you next time.